Everybody stand and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. The board's had a chance to read the previous minutes, so I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? That carries. Nothing on the public agenda tonight. Moving on to under the mayor. I've got a request for sponsorship for DCP 3-on-3 basketball tournament. Last year we gave them $200.
I make a motion we approve the sponsorship for the 3-on-3 basketball tournament.
I think this is year 15, I think, for some reason.
Yeah, it is.
It's good.
It's August the 1st.
If there's no other questions, I'll entertain second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? That carries. They always had an excellent turnout up there. Enjoy seeing the park full. All right, under the mayor tonight, I'd like to see if we can move forward with the salary for the employees. Kind of open the room up here. I think you got paperwork for 3%, 4%, and 5% raises, so whoever would like to start this off, go ahead.
I have a couple suggestions. These are just suggestions, by the way. So I'd like to ask the council if we would step up and take no pay increase for just us. And then the mayor's been doing a really good job. I hate for him to be in the same category as us. I'd like to put $400 on his salary. And then water and sewage, we seem to be wrestling with certification from the state. I would like to see two things happen for that. I'd like to see that we put 35-cent additional pay on any employee that wants to be certified and pass the test. And that's going to be a bonus of $728 a year at 35 cents. And then I'd also like to create a line on the water and the sewage under the supervisor. And I'd like that to be a supervisor without certificate. So it would be, I don't know, I kind of put in lost my note, but I think it was around $700 deduction on not having the cert. And then the last thing I think we should talk about, or two other things, sorry. Dunkirk always pays for taking the test, no matter how many times you take it. So 1 through 10 plus, Dunkirk always pays for the testing. I would like to see the employee have a little bit of skin in the game. And after the third test, so 4 on, I think they should pay for their test. That might help insinuate study better instead of go take the test. And if I don't pass it, I can do it again whenever my time limit's up. Then I think we need to talk about the pool. I brought it up to Dane when they had their meeting the other day. And I said, it seems like we have trouble getting lifeguards. And I know we're under Portland, but at the same time, we offer a class and then we don't charge for the class. And that's how we got some of our lifeguards. I asked him if it was okay if he was doing the class, did that fill in the rest of our employees for lifeguards? And he said it did. So I said, maybe we don't need to think about a raise for the lifeguards. But if we do a raise for the lifeguard, we need to put in the manager too, so they don't pass each other. Those are my ideas for the pay, and, I know you're gonna, do the, percentage. I'm kind of leaning to 3%. That's where I'm gonna start my conversation out for the employees' wages and, salary ordinance additions.
Okay, I already have a question. You
Okay.
said no raise for council and then a special raise for the mayor, so you're not including me getting
I
a
didn't
raise or?
include you in the council,
Okay.
so I think for Kara, I think whatever we did for the whole city employees, I think that her office will fall under whatever percent that is, or whatever you wanna give. And, any other questions on my ideas, or you wanna add or change something?
At the park board meeting, they voted to give the lifeguards a $2 or $3 raise, or maybe they didn't vote on it, but they talked about it. They just talked about
It
it.
was just brought up because it was brought up.
Okay,
Brought
yeah,
up to Dane in that one meeting they had.
yeah, they talked about giving them a $2 to $3 raise, and then they would also have to raise the manager and assistant manager, so the lifeguards weren't making more than them.
Yeah,
That was
and
just
they
a-
would, because the managers don't make that much more than a lot.
Yeah,
That was just all talked about because that was
Oh,
what
okay.
he said. He suggested a $2 raise for those positions.
Mhm.
So we talked about it, and I think we pretty much came to the conclusion that everybody around here has trouble getting lifeguards. I don't think
Yeah.
it really has much to do with the pay.
Was the discussion farther about, since how we give the lifeguard schooling, is that a benefit that helped us if we don't charge them and just talk about it?
I don't think we talked, you must have talked to Dane after we had our meeting
I
because
talked to him before.
I don't remember that being brought up.
Okay,
Anything
it
about
was just something I asked him, how did that work? When we did the schooling, did it fulfill our allotment for lifeguards?
it did. We did talk about that before the meeting, and it did fulfill what we needed for lifeguards by us offering the schooling.
Okay, so one more question.
Yeah, that was all internal. Everybody that already worked there said, yeah, I'll go ahead and do lifeguard and took the class.
Did we end up more? I know we need 3 at minimum. How many did we end up with total?
Was it? I
Enough
think
to
it was between
rotate
5 and 8, wasn't it?
Yeah. You remember
I
Jeff?
thought they had 6.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking too.
They had more, but a
Six is
couple of
good.
them quit. I think they worked a week and quit. But they
Yeah.
already had their certificates. There wasn't anybody that we put through the class.
I don't know that we need to address that, but I think we need to talk about it. And it sounds like crisis was averted because we stayed open as long as we wanted to. And I wasn't for sure how much we added into the school for the pool for the lifeguards after we did our school.
Well, I'm just gonna say, if we wouldn't have offered those classes, the pool couldn't have been open as many days as it has been. Because only having 3 lifeguards, they have vacations, they have other commitments. We'd have been shut down a lot more than we were already.
Maybe we're doing okay then, I don't know. I just thought we should talk about it since Highway's in trouble early on.
To be able to open that, if the baby pool's open, 3, right? 2 at the pool and 1 at the baby pool.
Yeah.
So minimum of 3. That's. I mean, they have to get more than 3, obviously, because they can't work those 3
Right,
hours all day.
but it sounds like we did more than.
Right.
We
We
had
got-
6, but we didn't keep 6 the whole year.
Yeah.
We'll keep 4.
But 4, as far as I know, but I think everything's still working out all right, right?
Did the managers say anything about, oh my gosh, this is not gonna work, we gotta do something, they just went with the flow? Maybe we're okay then, I don't know.
I think my opinion, I think you need to raise your lifeguards, raise your assistant manager and manager, and whatever the percentage you guys decide on, the rest of the employees, give that to your admissions and commitment.
So,
Yeah.
So the dollar amount per lifeguard and up, plus the raise of whatever it is, or just the amount raised? Because in the lifeguard world, it's not gonna be that much one way or the other, but it would be beneficial.
You're only talking about 8 weeks at the most.
Right. It's not a full year type of job, so I think that's not a bad idea to help the lifeguard situation out and see how that goes.
I think part of our lifeguard problem was Jay County didn't offer a class because they was doing renovations to the pool. Delta didn't offer classes, so people didn't have an opportunity to take a class. It wasn't that people weren't willing to be lifeguards, it just,
No
there was
opportunity.
no easy way to get the class done, where before Jay County always offered it in Delta.
Like I say, maybe we're okay just on the idea of make sure we have a class every year.
How much did it cost us to have a class?
I think each kid, I think it was $255 per kid. Don't quote me on that. It was over $200 per kid. But that was their CPR, that was their online training, that was everything.
$150, so 4 kids would be $1,000. And then that would be a lot out of their pocket too, so maybe the classes, this is the right way to go all the time for us. Instead of rely on them to find a spot, if they couldn't find a spot, that's our saving grace for this year.
Are they certified forever, or do you have to take it every year?
No, they have to, I think they have to get recertified every 2 years.
So take it every.
I think it's what it is too, yeah, every 2 years.
Anybody got any other ideas?
So, are you set with where they're at, other than a percentage raise then, or, because I want to point out, I mean, you're gonna have to do the lifeguard, the assistant manager, the pool manager, the part-time park.
Yeah, I don't think we did any voting or suggestion. I just laid it on the table. So if everybody wants to go for that, I think we need to have more discussion than just me. If you think the wages are going to be okay with whatever percent we go going forward with our school, then we don't have to have special treatment. But if we did that, I think that's a good idea too. Because I think I heard Portland was $4 more ahead of us. 5,
I was thinking Portland was 16. We're at,
16, so that's only 3.
we're at 11, so
So we balance ours up to
16 is
18, and
fine.
then go to 22.
we're at.
Yeah, there's always going to be somebody that makes.
I guarantee it.
And like Jack said, it's only for about 8 weeks, so we're not talking, oh my gosh, we made a mistake. It's an opportunity to move forward and make it better. Let's take one of these ideas at a time if you want.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think they laid a lot out.
I mean, while we're talking about this, we might as well just brush through all of it, what it's gonna do, I mean, everybody's feelings on it. What's your feelings?
Did you get your paper for the
Yeah.
year, what it would cost us?
I'm okay with giving them 3% because
Just 3%, not
I'm sorry, at their age, 3% for me would have been wonderful. You know, yeah.
I would think that if we're going to do the school and then offer the 3%, then we can do that and then see how that works next year.
Because they get certified for, the city pays for them to get certified for free.
Now you're saying 3% because that's
The
how you
3%.
plan on, that's how you plan on voting for everything?
Well, yeah, so whatever we do.
I just been saying percentage, I haven't been
Okay.
putting a number to it.
So whatever percent we vote on here.
Okay.
Just give them that and then make sure we offer the school again and see how that works.
Was there a problem getting that set up?
I think Kenzie, the assistant manager, took charge of that and set up the lady to come, and it wasn't a problem. She did it just fine. We do also, just so you know, if they get certified through J County, whatever they pay J County, if they stay the whole year, they get reimbursed for that too.
Ah,
But they have to stay till the end of the season to get reimbursed.
that's a good idea.
So, I mean, that's the way it's always been.
Right.
If they leave a week before it closes, they don't get reimbursed. They have to stay until the final day.
I actually like that idea too.
So this year they had to pay
This year, the four that we did in the classes, the city paid for that out of their own pocket.
yeah.
I have 2 other lifeguards that went somewhere else and paid that out of their pocket, and then at the end of the season, they will get reimbursed for those fees. They
Okay.
have to turn in receipts and show
Yeah.
they paid, and as long as they stay, they get that money back as well.
So it sounds like you got the pool basically taken care of except for the percentage.
So what did we decide?
That the pool, we're just gonna do the school again
Just,
for the
okay.
lifeguards and then whatever percentage
Okay,
everybody else.
what's a regular pool hour from what to what?
11 to 6, except for,
11 to 6, so you're talking 7 hours?
yeah, except for the Tuesday and Thursday night, and then that's 6 to 9, isn't it?
It originally was 12 to 6, and then somehow it got changed to 11 to 6, and then Dollar Night was 6 to 8, and somehow that got changed to 6 to 9.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
that changed
but-
mid-season.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was because we had more lifeguards, so we could, I don't know.
One only changed because she started changing it on the postings, right?
I
Because
thought,
I don't think anything was ever run past us.
I thought she told me, I thought Eva told me that they talked about it, and Eva told her it was okay to do that.
I don't remember it being at a park board meeting, but I'm just,
I'm all right with that. I would like to have I would like to see the park board have a little more input in those wages and what they think. I think that they ought to give us some recommendations
Yeah.
for those, since they're actually working, working out there at the pool and park. And I know it's just a summer thing, but I'd like them to look at that next year and come back with some recommendations. What they think. I'd like to have them a little more involved in that part of it anyway.
I think they should also.
Is everybody okay with what, the 3% and paying for the lifeguards and
8%.
what?
A percentage. We haven't-
No,
we haven't-
we
No,
have
I
to
mean,
decide as a
whatever it is,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. You got anything else on that, Kara? We kind of tie the pool people in with the park, so same thing for them then? Well, if there's no other questions on that, we'll move on to the percentage for the employees.
Back to your, Jesse, on your certifications.
Certification, yeah. I suggested 35 cents an hour for somebody who has the active state certification.
Well, under the water, it has a certified plant. What is that?
I think that's different.
Okay.
Certified plant, I mean, you run the plant. It has
But you
nothing
do
to
that.
I think the
certify.
certified plant operator came about for someone that knew how to run the equipment.
Yeah.
That's somebody who can do the testing and everything,
Okay,
but
yeah.
they're not certified.
But they know how to
Do
do
the
this.
state stuff.
Okay, okay.
So right now, we pay somebody to turn our state papers in. So the test, what they're taking, gives them permission to sign off on everything that we do and sign all our numbers and, I don't know all of it, but sort of just test the water like crazy and turn this into the state, and then the state finds us if we're lacking on something or we're in trouble and we get fined or whatever. So now, the person who's in charge of the paperwork's not inside the plant.
Okay.
So one of my reasons is twofold for the supervisor to be certified. And we can give him 2 years to be certified. I think that's probably about right.
I
For
think they
somebody
have
that
to
gets-
work a year before they can even take the test.
Yeah, you're not gonna hire somebody to supervise right off the street. So it's 1 year to be able to take the test, and then we should give them 2 years to complete the test. I'm not sure if that's in there, but I think I might have seen that somewhere, but if it's not, we should put that in there. Then anybody else in the department, well, I think I would open it up to be fair for all the employees, but you gotta work in the water department to get your 1 year service. So, anybody who can come up with 1 year in the water department and take their test, I think anybody in those two departments should be allowed to take the test. So we could have 3 people in the water department or, in the sewage, we have 3 people? We could have 3 people with a state certification, and then we're never gonna be without one. We have one coming, we still have another one move up. And that will help us in our future of having somebody certified to do the state papers.
Do they all want to?
Well, I don't know that. I think one person in the water does. I don't know if everybody wants to.
Well, I know Brock's going.
Brock's going tomorrow.
Yeah.
And this will be his 3rd or 4th time, so he's made it 1 question or 2 questions away from passing each time. He's right there. So, this will be good for Brock to hit this one. And, but if not, we need to be able to have somebody to move up, and there's no incentive for anybody to move up. That's why I think we should have a 35-cent thing or a certain value that would make them feel beneficial of taking the test and passing it. And then I would like the city to only pay for 2 or 3 tests, and after that, I would think it should be on the employee to pay for the test. We've never did that. We've paid for anybody, everybody who's wanted to take the test. If they took it 10 times, we still paid for it. I think putting a little skin in the game on the employee side after the 3rd time or whatever, then it makes it more real for them to study harder instead of wing it and make it.
Yeah, I don't know that we've ever had anybody take it 3 times. So.
I also remember that the previous test, it was an open book test as well. Now it's not. So it's making it a little harder.
If you want to take that and move it to 4, I just think there should be a number that it just doesn't go on until you actually make it.
And we're just talking the water department, sewage don't.
Sewage takes a state test.
They take a state
Yeah.
test, don't they?
Sewage takes a state test also, but I don't think anybody else, but just sewer and water.
Okay.
And that's always been that way here. The supervisor was always the certified. The certified.
Yeah,
state
that makes
certified.
sense.
And nobody else tried until they moved on or retired or whatever. Then it put everybody in a spot. I remember a while back, I think it was a sewer department, Gerald Kirby signed all our papers from Red Key. And we paid him a fee for doing that every time. So if we can have backups, I think we'll be better off for ourselves. And given the benefit to the employees to be better employees and smarter and qualified, and I just think that's better. And one thing the test does, it's not the city of Dunkirk's test and license, it's that individual's license. So after they get that,
They need to go on the
they can move on too, so I just think it's still it's a good opportunity, and we should give them all the chances possible on our side.
Anybody else got any ideas on that, or is that all good, or what's everybody thinking?
Well, Brock wanted me to mention that water has 2 different certifications that they have to get, and the sewage only has 1.
Right.
So we're gonna want to do 35 cents per certificate being certified, or just one straight across?
They gotta have them both to be certified.
Okay,
You got 1 and 2.
now you're over my head. I need to ask that question.
I think you ought to keep your 35 cents there if you're certified, just like you said. With 1, you're not certified, you've gotta have them both.
Okay, so one doesn't do you any good even though you're certified. Does that help the water plant operator? Or it has nothing to do with that?
That's your certification, you gotta hold both of them.
Okay,
So he's taking one tomorrow, plus he has another one he's got to.
That's the way I understand it,
Go to.
yes. You got 1 and 2,
in order to
3 and
be
4.
complete.
1 and 2 is for people, cities or towns under 3,300
Mhm.
people. 3 and 4 goes on up.
Oh, okay, bigger cities, okay.
yeah, so if it takes 2 to be certified, then there's only 1 completion, not 2 separate completions. If 1 won't let you do anything, right?
One is for, I can't remember if it's 1 or 2 is, one's for distribution,
Distribute, yeah.
and the other's treatment.
I remember that, yeah.
But you're talking about other employees aside from the supervisors.
Yes,
Because if we do this now, we're saying, okay, we're gonna give all like our supervisor, since he's certified, we're gonna give him another 35 cents. He's already supervised, he's a supervisor, he's already certified. So this would be other employees as,
yes. Whoever comes up with a certification for the city, I think we should think about honoring that.
I think
And
it's
then we'll have
like,
more than 1 person hold the certificate. So if Randy had 1 and he was the only one, I come up behind him, now we have 2. So if Randy gets hurt or leaves or go gets another job or whatever, I have an opportunity to be placed in a supervisor position with my certification and still turn in the paperwork that the state needs from us. Which keeps us out of trouble, and sometimes these fines are pretty big. So I think we should protect ourselves as much as possible without having to pay somebody else that's not even in that department.
So maybe the question was, if the sewage supervisor already has his certificate, is he going to get that bonus because he already has that certificate, or does he have to wait till he's?
Well, because Lisa has her
You
certificate
got
too.
2 at the sewage
Mhm.
plant. Both of them, I guess what you're saying, they need to get 35 cent more on the hour. The
Yes.
supervisor's making more than the assistant
Whoever
anyway.
has it, the 35 cents goes to the certification.
Yeah.
to anybody underneath of the supervisor,
Say it one more time.
35 cents to
If you're
anybody
certified,
underneath of the
35% more
supervisor.
on the
Yeah.
hour.
Because that's what he was saying earlier, it's always been the expectation that the
Yeah.
supervisor would be certified.
Yeah.
So I want you to clarify if you're wanting the supervisor to also get 35 cents more.
Whoever
Yeah.
holds the certificate, yes. I want whoever has a certificate to be rewarded for their hard work and accomplishments of passing, because they're not easy. And I didn't know they had an open book before, and now they don't. So now it's even harder. And I think there's over, or at least 100 questions in this test. So some of them doesn't even, like water, some of them doesn't even relate to the water department. So you gotta be some kind of chemist to figure out one. But if that's the one you miss, you're still on track.
Mhm.
Okay.
And they have to be recertified how often? How?
Your license is your license, but you do have to do hours.
You gotta
for
get so
service.
many points each year
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so,
to keep your license.
Yeah.
you know, we send people to Lafayette, where's some of the other towns we send them to?
They're all over Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Frenchville.
So when they go there, I don't know if they get 1 point per class or 7 hours to get sent point. I don't know how that works, but every time they go to these, we get, or they get credited, and that's how they keep, just like a school teacher.
Yeah,
Okay, it's just like that.
okay.
Some of the classes they can do online too. Like, travel.
Okay.
Yeah, if you listen throughout the year, we send people to classes, and generally send 1 or 2 people out of that department.
So eventually, everybody could be certified.
Mhm.
That,
If they want to.
yeah, if they want.
Well, I mean, I used to call on Woodley County, and they're required, and they hire a new employee at the water plant, they're required to be within 5 years to be certified. So he has five certified operators that are there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something you just,
And I don't think that's that much in the course of a year or the course of 2, 3, 4 people. I think that's not bad for us as a city to honor. And then there's one guy's a supervisor, he's in charge, but if the other guy says that's not right, right? So now you have backup and knowledge that all comes together to fix a problem, and it might even save us something later, because how many things are different in the course of fixing anything, and there's always more than one way to fix it if it's not absolute. So the option is to make the best plan we can with the people that we are supporting.
I'm okay giving it to everybody below the supervisor, but not the supervisor.
yeah, the supervisor already be compensated, that they should
I
have.
mean, we ought to continue forward that that's the stipulation of being a supervisor is to get certified.
Yeah.
If you can't, then somebody below will get 35 cents more to do your job.
We just have to make sure with this, if you're not gonna give it to the supervisor, that with the assistant or whoever, if they move up to assistant, they're not making more on the hour than the
Right.
supervisor.
But this is just gonna be like a bonus, not a,
Right, but I'm saying that if they move up to assistants because they have this certification and you give them an additional 35 cents,
Mhm.
they don't have the figures here
And
to
if you,
say,
I got one.
they can't make more on the hour than the supervisor. is what
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying.
got one of them. So, let me come over here. So, from the current year, if we go 3%, that's roughly $1,476.80. So again, if you go back to the certification at 35 cents, it's a half of that, so $728.
hours.
So he's close, but he's not there. And then saying that, Karen, I wonder if that makes the second guy making almost as much money, that he doesn't want to become supervisor, right? Why do I need to be supervisor?
Well, the
and have all that
supervisor's
trouble
getting
too?
$23.51.
I don't know, I might have created
Yours getting
something.
$21.35.
Yeah, I knew
So you put 35 cents on that, that's still not going to be anywhere near the supervisor's amount.
So a good point on the qualifications, not being able to pay for your qualification, but pay what the salary supervisor is supposed to have. I like that idea too.
Because if we want to look at it that way, the water and the sewage have to be certified, so do the police and the fire every year. They have to go through lots of training and lots of classes and lots of stuff that are state mandates that say they have to do that to be certified to do their job. So we're gonna look at them too. I'd rather just keep all the
Does that fall
supervisors.
under, does that fall under we pay them to do that job?
I mean, the same.
I think it might.
I mean, that's what we started talking about to begin with. We pay the supervisors with the expectation that they'll be certified. Same thing. That's my point.
Right.
that is a good point. So then what do we do if our current supervisor doesn't get the certification within however many years? And do we start now and say he has 2 years from now? Is it already wrote down somewhere?
That's where we defer to the mayor. Sorry, Jack.
Keeps trying to stay out of it.
I don't know. Another question.
Yeah.
It's not written anywhere that they have this long to get their certification.
That would be
But
something
we
to
want
be
to make that.
in their handbook handbook, we're talking about salary.
Okay.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
So then, I think, given what Randy said, then 35 cents for certified should not be supervisors because it's already expected that they,
I would agree with Randy, yes.
yeah.
So if the assistant wants to go, the lab tech wants to go, and they get certified, that's 35 cents an hour more.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but like Dan said, his one town is all certified, and you're given 5 years to do that. Maybe supervisors should only be allowed 2 years if you put him in a supervisor's position
Yeah.
to come up with that, because a little bit different than being an employee and being a supervisor.
You have a lot more responsibility.
Yes,
Being a
well,
supervisor.
If you look at it, we're kind of lucky right now that we have
yes.
Brad doing it internally, because if he wasn't there, we'd have to reach out and probably end up paying more to somebody
We
else.
still pay for that.
Yep.
I know.
Nowhere
Okay.
near what it would cost from somebody else
Right,
outside.
exactly.
Outside, yeah.
But in the meantime, we're paying the supervisor the same, we're paying all the supervisors the same, and he's not certified, so that's the downside.
Yeah, I would agree. So I think we all agree on the direction. I think we just need to agree on a, what do you say, value for that. So wage increase or the extra spot.
I mean, that basically figures, I figure it out to be $728 a year
That's what it is.
at
Exactly,
40 hours a week. So
exactly, yeah.
And if they choose not to get certified, that's their own decision to make. They're not obligated into like a supervisor is.
does that seem reasonable to everybody, 35 cents?
I think so.
And Randy's total looks up $107, just to let you know, the water department gets overtime every week. Somebody has to work the weekend, so it'd be probably $1,000
Oh,
at least. Which they want you to think it was only gonna be $700 a year, 'cause it's gonna be based on their hours.
Yeah, because once a month, they definitely have overtime.
Yeah.
yeah, if you look at your rate sheet we just passed around, it's in there, of how much overtime. I think that's pretty cool.
So if everybody understands that, do we want to do a motion for that part of it? And then we'll move on to the rest of the employees.
Okay, are we voting for 35 cents for the certification between the water and the sewer? And we're voting on 2 years, well, that's the handbook, sorry. And what, the percent of wage increase, with all this in one thing.
Has everybody said what they need to do about the percentages?
No, yeah, we haven't crossed that bridge yet.
So if you want to do it a piece at a time, that's fine.
Let's do a piece at a time. I mean, I'm okay with 35 cents an hour. Anybody that wants to get it, everybody below the supervisor. If it's not stipulated in the handbook that the supervisor get that, then we need to talk about
Look at that.
putting that wording in there. That's several years ago, there's a big bump up in pay for supervisors, and like you said, whether it says that specifically or not, that's been the expectation. They have all their certifications and everything to do their job.
And we didn't give them that wage bump.
Yeah.
So if you're okay, I'll make a motion for everybody that has a certification for the water and sewer to come up with 35 cents increase because they have a certification,
Except the supervisor.
except the supervisor.
You make the motion?
I did,
I'll
yes, I
second.
made that motion.
I'll
Got a
second.
motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Got all that, Carol? Okay, now let's move on to For the rest of the employees, what's everybody feel about the percent raises for them? I'll open up the floor.
I want to come back with something else in that same category. So I'd like to create a line between supervisor and the assistant supervisor of the water and sewer because of the certification. Having it or not having it bumps them up one.
So what are you proposing that the hourly
If the
wage would
supervisor,
be?
basically, if the supervisor is not certified, but is in a supervisory position, he comes down just a little bit. And I don't know the
The
exact.
35 cents an hour like you pay the other people to get it?
I guess I'm
Okay.
confused on that.
Okay.
What would be the line?
Are you talking demotion or?
Supervisor uncertified.
He's basically saying like we pay a first class patrolman a certain wage before academy and one
Mhm.
after. So he wants a supervisor, non-certified line in between the supervisor and assistant.
Yes.
Basically,
That's
that's
better
how-
wording, supervisor uncertified.
And what do you propose that their salary be?
Probably about that 728 figure, because the percentage wage is about $1,476. So 700 is right about there, so $728 is the certificate. Unless somebody, you can say whatever, that's just the place to start.
But if we make it in the handbook that to be a supervisor, they have to be certified, that's sort of a moot point, except for it buys us time until the handbook gets finished.
I do think that's in there, supervisor has to be certified already.
I don't know, you guys read the handbook.
Yeah, I'm almost sure
I
that's
keep
in.
meaning to look it up and I.
It's in there.
Yeah,
So underneath the supervisor, you want a supervised, non-certified.
yes.
And what rate of pay would that be? Between 23.51 and 21.35, in between that? You know what I mean? Because the assistant is 21.35, the supervisor is 23.51. So if a supervisor with no certification,
Where are you getting that number?
salary ordinance
She's looking at the
from
actual salary.
2025.
Oh, that,
Before we get too far into that, you're saying that you want to give them 2 years. What are you wanting after the 2 years? What are you looking at doing?
if
You're
they're not
giving a
certified,
timeline to do what?
if they're not certified, we need to move them back down to assistant or something.
Okay, then I don't think we need a split line in there then, if that's what it's gonna do.
But
Because
it's
you're
gonna be
talking,
2 years
they've got 2
employed.
years to do it, and if they don't, they get demoted and somebody else moves up. Is
So-
that, that's what you're
So
talking
what you
about?
said, keep the supervisor's pay, sir or no, sir?
Well, say the assistant is certified, but the supervisor isn't after
Right.
2 years.
I think it needs to have another line between assistant and
I
supervisor.
just think it makes too much of a complication.
Like Kara said, patrolman 1, patrolman 2.
Yeah, I mean, and that's only if they pass the academy. But that's for all new hires, from day one until they pass the academy, and then
Which
they
they only have,
automatically move up.
they only have a year to complete that
Right.
training.
So make another, like some kind of motion. I just don't think the supervisor, if he doesn't have a certification, should get total supervisor's pay. What do you guys think?
I mean, I don't think that, I mean, just like the assistant, say the supervisor quits and the assistant is not certified, moves up into that. He's not certified because he didn't have to be,
Yeah.
but if he wants the supervisor's position, he's gonna know that's expected of him.
Within 2 years.
Right.
And probably after we do the certification, we might not have that trouble at all because they'll already be pre-positioned. So I'm okay with that. I'm just talking as how to give the employee, how to grow, how to achieve, how to get to the next
Right.
level.
So keep it the way it is.
I mean, that's my feeling. What's everybody else? Yeah.
Simpler is better.
What do you think, Donna?
Yeah, because if we actually start following our rules, it's sort of like a moot point.
Okay.
What's that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
It just is.
What about the test? The certification test, city pays for all of them now.
What's been the average, like, everybody's, like, usually passed it on the second time?
I don't know that.
How much does it cost?
I mean, it's different now,
I
though.
don't know that
I
either.
think it took Stephen twice to pass it.
You know what the test costs?
No, but Brock's saying that he paid for his own test, so. City didn't pay for it, that's what he's saying.
Tell him it's not a thing yet. He can still go on the city.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think the
I
city should
think he's
pay.
saying the previous test he took, he paid for it out of his own pocket.
Oh.
The city didn't pay it for it.
When did you turn it in?
You can't answer that question. But I agree with Jesse, after so many times the city pays for it, then they should have to pay for it themselves. But if you can only take it once a year, 3 times, they're gonna get to know it anyway.
Yeah, if you gotta have it before 2 years.
I don't know how
So
long it's
2
gonna take it, you need your drive to do that.
I think it's 2 or 3. It depends how your days fall. And it depends on the instructor letting you in. So you just can't sign up for tomorrow. You have to have permission to come to the class.
I think there again, what we're talking about now, it needs to be in the handbook, has nothing to do with salary ordinance. We
Okay,
need to move on.
I agree.
Good
That's
job.
all the questions I have on water and sewage part.
So did we do a motion for the 35 cents and the certified? Okay, that's all done.
Yeah.
Okay, we moved on to the raise for the rest of the city employees. What's everybody's thinking there?
Jesse, I mean, he threw a bunch of stuff out that, you know, this group gets this and this. It's different than what we've always done. I don't know if that's a precedent we want to set or not. Always give.
I don't think you want to separate too much difference in your supervisors from your assistant.
Right.
I think we better stick to the percent across the board and go.
And everybody that we're voting on a raise for is a city employee. So, I mean, we had that conversation. I don't see how you can tell one group of city employees, you're getting this, and another group, you're getting this.
Well, I can see in bigger cities, I think Wes can probably tell you, like in Portland, they got longevity pay, they've got this. That's a lot of work to keep up with that. And I don't think we need to start that right now until we.
And sometimes as we're done, the longevities we're done is, you know, you gave a smaller, maybe not a raise in a year, maybe or a smaller raise, and it was a way to try to offset that.
Now you got every
And
employee
then
making
it becomes more of an expectation, right? Once what started out as maybe a one-time, the thought was maybe it's a one-time bonus, and then it's like, well, every year we've got to do longevity. Or it gets seen as a replacement for doing an actual raise, because it looks like in your budget, you know, it looks that way, like you're paying them, but in reality, your base wage stays down here, and, you know.
What you're making, so.
You know, so then you become less competitive with other, you know, with the private sector and municipalities, so it's kind of a trap. I wouldn't necessarily recommend falling into that too often, but people do it.
It's gonna be quite hard to keep up with. We're just
Right.
small.
Yeah.
We're small. We gotta think of ourselves and keep up with ourselves. Not worry about bigger towns and everything else. Because there's always gonna be somebody that makes more money than you out there.
I think you got the figures in front of all of you. It ought to be somewhere between 3 and 5%. So that's my opinion on that.
across the board? Or?
Well, at this point, the only breaking up we would be down to would be if we give the mayor 400 and if we took no,
Right, that's what I said.
you know.
So he's breaking it up into 3 groups of city employees, one that gets a special raise, some get none, and some that get a percentage.
Let me make this a little bit easier. I'll just withdraw that conversation and we just go straight through for the whole city for whatever percent. Minus what we just talked about and the water supervisor and some stuff.
I'm not saying it wrong, I'm just saying
Yeah.
that everybody has their opinion. I was trying to get everybody to voice how they felt about it.
Well, when you said that, I thought, sounds very right.
But simple is sometimes,
Yeah,
I think-
we've fought this every year.
I figure all this better.
I don't know that I can remember a year where they did get raises. We've always tried to give them at least a 3% raise with this Senate bill, and we don't know how much money we're gonna
Yeah.
make. We don't know where that stands. We don't know what the health insurance is gonna go up, which I know it's gonna go up. We continue to pay their health insurance every year.
That's right. That's a big.
So I think 3% would be the maximum I would be willing to go with the uncertainties of what we have. And I think that's still being fair. I don't know that we've given less than a 3% raise in over the last several years.
I think one year we got 2%.
So,
I think it was last year.
Yeah.
so I mean, that's my feeling. I wouldn't go any more. I would be in favor of going any more than 3%.
Is that a motion then?
I'll make that motion.
Is that how you guys do
Somebody
it?
else wants it?
I'm leaning towards 4.
If that's a motion, then I'll second it.
I make that a motion.
I've got a motion on the floor for 3% and a second for 3%. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? That carries.
Thanks, Steve.
Is there any way you can, and I should have talked to you, I hadn't had a chance to. I would like to know what it's gonna cost us if we give 3% raises. Here's what it's gonna cost sewage department, here's what it's gonna cost water department. Break it down to each, how much it's gonna be. $30,000 for a sewage plant, $30,000 for the water
Without
plant.
overtime.
Without overtime, because you can't judge overtime. Just
Yeah.
straight, because I don't, we're gonna talk about water and sewer rates. I have no idea. I'm looking at water and sewer rates. And with this issue with the fire departments, I mean, there's a lot of issues now that we're gonna have to deal with on top of the raises. And I just wanna know what kind of hit this, a 3% raise is gonna be for each of these different departments.
Next meeting.
I know what it is per employee, so I mean, I guess it wouldn't be too hard to go through and figure it out.
Well, yeah, overtime.
Based on the number of employees that we have,
This could be
but
a ballpark.
Okay, we got the salary ordinance all figured out.
and I
Do
could,
you want this figures from Kara before we do the water and sewage rates?
well, no, I mean, we can discuss the
Okay,
ones.
all right.
I would like to see what the total, and there again, we don't know what the health insurance is gonna be, so we don't know what kind of hit that's gonna be, but I guarantee it's gonna go up.
I did some research and they're saying probably an average is 14%.
14. Heard that on the radio.
That's a lot.
Okay, so what is 14%?
Health insurance.
Are probably gonna go up 14%.
Yeah. I see they pay $1 a year.
$1 a year.
Yeah.
I think
That's
that
what,
was when I was on the radio a couple days ago.
that's what you just said.
And part of that is because the government took away the reimbursement.
Yeah.
We used to get reimbursement. The insurance companies used to get reimbursed, but now they don't anymore.
That's gonna be a chunk of money.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be hard.
Okay, moving on to water and sewage rates then. What's everybody's feelings? Do we want to increase? Do we want to keep it the same? Do we want to increase one and keep one the same?
we discussed this before. I was looking at,
Am I right in saying sewage rates are a little bit higher than water?
yeah, not higher, but they bring in more.
The way the ordinance was put together, the water rate stays the same up to 13 cubic feet. The sewage, the more you use, they get more money.
So I, just for example, on this, the last revenue report, the water took in 74,200. And the sewage department took in 85,600. So there's about $10,000 a month more that the sewage department is bringing in than the water. I think the sewage department is fine, but I'm more concerned about the water department's operating balances.
You do 3%
I think we did a 3%
3%
on both.
I'd rather go lower percentage than the time we had to do it like 10%.
Yeah.
That's a big jolt to the system.
Yeah.
So I'd rather do 3% versus, something smaller. We just tacked on that dollar on water bill too. So I think if it's 3%, customers aren't going to be as upset about it as opposed to 100. That's my opinion.
Yeah. They'll complain no matter what you do, but
That's
it's
true.
easier to do
Yes.
$3 a month than
Then,
10.
yes.
So maybe 3% on the water and leave sewage alone? Or 2% on water and leave sewage alone?
How is our sewage plant holding up?
Yeah, it should be.
I don't know, it's like everything else. I mean, he'd like to buy more stuff and he'd like to have more pumps and this and that and the other, but I don't know.
You need like 3% with the water and 2% with the sewage. Would that mess you up, Carol?
Doesn't mess me up.
I'm the one that does the calculation.
Would it mess you up? Wes will mess you up.
No, it's just pushing the 2 instead of 3 on the calculator. And I still use the old school with the tape on it, so I can go back and
Oh, so me too. I do too.
I have to go on the internet if I want this.
Oh, a calculator? Yeah.
Well, I agree with Dan, the water department needs a bigger
Yeah.
increase in the sewage.
Mhm. But I would hate not to raise the sewage and then might need something.
It might not be a bad idea, and I don't know the last time we had it done, but it might not be a bad idea to look at having a study, another water sewer study done here.
It's been a while.
Just to look at our rates and
2019?
it's probably something should be done every 5 years. I don't know if that's big and who does that or who does that.
You can get that done. I said, any of them can do it. Baker Tilly would be a good one to start out of.
Yeah, basically does most of it anymore, but I know there are other firms out there
Yeah.
that do it.
Well, we can look into that. Let's
I will say.
consider our percentages here.
I will
Well,
say the.
we have time if you want to do that. I mean, if we want to do it yet this year, because we don't have to make a decision on this tonight. This is
Well,
something that
the
we.
only reason I wanted to bring it up is because of budget.
Mhm,
My biggest
exactly.
concern is the fire department has put in their budget the hydrants. So I just kind of want to know your thoughts on probably a percentage so I could raise their budget to cover that.
I see what you're saying. Well, I definitely think the water department, when I'm going back and looking, the water department probably needs it right now more than the sewage department does. I think the sewage plant's operating operating fairly well. I don't think we have any major issues out there. I know the water department with all the new meters and all the things that have come up down there, they've probably taken more of a hit than what the sewage plant has, so.
The sewer plant is 14 years old now, so we've kind of slid through with minimal repairs. So somewhere right here, we've already had a couple big motors. So somewhere in 14 on, it's going to start being a little bit more costly. So whatever we do this year, we do need to think about that going forward. And I think that's what's happened to the water department, because it was done 16, 18?
12.
12? So about the same, 14, well, it must have been the year before.
We did one,
It was-
they did one in 2010, then they changed it on 2012, changed the plan. It was,
They went to some ozone, tried some ozone.
Yeah,
thing,
ozone, yeah.
and that's, yeah.
So we're at the spot where some of our costs that we've never incurred is now going to start occurring.
And by adding on the new housing addition, what's that gonna do?
that's the reason we activated the other well, or in the
Okay.
process. of
But what
it.
will it do to our sewage?
I don't think it's gonna be an issue. I really don't. I don't think it'll even, I would be surprised if the sewage department even notices much of an increase out there.
They said when I was there that we're only using 50% of the capability of the sewer department.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's-
So we have plenty of room of growth for.
Water tower is gonna be the
Next
biggest
big
thing.
water
You know,
tower.
that's why I'm thinking we need to look at water, increasing water rates more than. But see, then part of what I think Baker Tilly or whoever you hire to do your water and sewer rate study is they look at your master plan to decide, here's what you guys wanna do, and here's what, you know, we need revenue that we need to be collecting over the next 5 years.
Our rates is in our, if you look at your BLM book, was good till 2025, or 24.
24.
5 years, the rates are up, and we're up with them.
Yeah.
We're where we should be. as
And
far
we've
as
done a
water
few
and
of those
sewage
projects,
rates.
but we still haven't done all of them.
2 years later. No, we didn't yet.
And like I said, now I think this thing with the water tower might preempt some of the other projects that we had written in that master plan. I think it's something we seriously need to look at down in the next few years is what it's gonna cost us and what our funding options are and where we could even locate it.
Yep.
So we're gonna seriously have to look at it.
So I mean, if you guys just wanna, talk about it and maybe do the rate study, I can just bump his up 5% just to cover it.
I don't think we'd ever get a rate study done this year.
No,
I mean, if you're gonna spend money on a rate study, I think you probably wanna have the utility study, the master utility plan updated to include something like a water tower. If you think that's something in the next 5 years or less you're gonna need, you probably want that piece and have kind of those two kind of always go, not always, but go hand in hand as your master utility plan, because, if you're planning upgrades or things like that,
So you wanna leave water and sewage where they're at and then work on a master plan and
well, yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with going with the 3% raise for the water. I think we can leave the sewer alone for a year. So, I mean, if you want to
We
look.
can do the 3%, pursue the plan, the master utility plan, see.
I think whatever we do, we still need to look at doing a utility study for.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't have an issue with that. I don't think we need to raise 3% on both of them. No, I think we can get by on the sewage plan for another year.
so you want me to, what I can do is put together 3%, bring it back to you, look at it on just the water and not the sewer, and then you guys can
Okay.
look
Yeah,
into
that's fine.
the utility plan and rate study maybe in the future.
That helps you, Kara, then figure out
Yes.
what you're looking at.
All right, moving on. Karen and I sat through a webinar this morning for MUST. kind of prepping us for what the county's going to be doing August 22nd, 26th. Maybe last day is 22nd. Yeah, 26th. Anyway, I'm going to bring Wes into this. Maybe he might not want to talk. He might, but I learned a couple of things today, and Kara did. Two things on your LOA. The way I understand it, you're going to eliminate your police department and fire department, and EMS is the only one going to get LOA now. Am I right? The way it is right
It
now.
is right now, yeah, and the city communities of a certain population will have to then go to the county council. So if you're under, I think it's 3,500.
Yep.
So I think you all will fit in that category. And so the county will have, council will have a public safety rate that they can go up to like 2-point-something%. And then the county council then must decide how to break that up. And this is for 2028, I think.
Effective 2029.
2028. And then there's a provision in the statute that says you have to do that every year. And the county council has to agree to that every year. So, you know, in Jay County, you're going to have the county-wide, and Portland will be over here on its own little island if they choose to do that. But Dunkirk, Red Key, Bryant, Limbo, everybody that gets that their own money now from that will go, and then the county council will ultimately decide of that 2.1 or 3%, whatever it is, don't quote me on those numbers. How much does Dunkirk get? How much does Red Key get? How much does Benbow get? And how much does the county then get? And that has to happen every year. So part of what is going on now is, this meeting that's happening August, whatever it is with the county, August 20-something.
Yep, the bus meeting.
I think they would like, clerk treasurer definitely. I would encourage y'all to attend that. And what they've said, the state has set some deadlines yet this fall to have these meetings and kind of come up with a proposal, even though this doesn't take effect until 2029, and you're not really supposed to deal with it until 2028. They want to have these meetings and this plan submitted to the state. And I think the purpose of it, I've heard him say, is really just to see how badly this system is broken that the legislature has created, and so maybe they can fix it before it really hits the fan in a couple of years. So, but I think it's important for Dunkirk and all the communities in Jay County to participate in this process and try to figure it all out. And remember, all of us are learning this as we go. I'm at kind of a point in my life where I don't like to learn new things because I feel like they're pushing something out that I already know, they're new. And so when I sat through the last county council meeting, where Emily did a really good job, our county auditor, Emily Franks, to put together a presentation on how this all works. I'm sure she has that on PowerPoint. If you want to kind of get a primer ahead of time, maybe reach out to Emily and see if she'd send you that. If you haven't seen it already, you might be able to wrap your mind around it a little bit. I don't know. My eyes started to glaze over a little bit. I felt like I understood it. But it's important, I guess, the gist of it is to know that that's public safety money is going to change how you get your public safety money, and it's very important for you to be represented and have input at this meeting. County that's going to be at the courthouse, it's going to be all the municipalities hopefully have representation there to try to get our minds around this and how this new system is going to work. And that's about all I can tell you about it, because
That's just the low money part of it.
yeah.
What's the August 12th meeting?
August 26th
Yeah, they moved it.
is
So
valid.
the August 12th meeting is gone now?
Yeah, and I apologize if I didn't forward you that second email we got.
They haven't changed that meeting time.
Yeah, so I'm like Wes, the elected officials need to be there. It not only does it affect us, it affects your libraries, it's your
Yes.
townships,
Schools.
and all these and schools. I'm not sure, this is our third one meeting about SB1. We've basically set in I'm confused.
It's very complicated how they're gonna, and how it's gonna have to happen. Jack's right. That it's gonna affect, the county council will have a lot of control over how much Dunkirk gets and how much the library gets there. It's gonna be something that's gonna, if this stays the way it is now, after 29, it's every year. You gotta go back. And I think personally that makes it hard to plan year to year. You don't know exactly what, especially on the fire, police,
Yeah.
on the safety side, right? So-
And then now, I learned today, and Wes might be able to fill us on this, this is even going to affect our economic development. We won't get that no more. And
That's all local income tax, LIT.
that's what funds your DIDC. That money goes to DIDC. I don't know, county money would go to JCDC.
Well, they do give, I mean, the county gets, they don't, not all of it, right? But some of it goes to the commissioners, a portion of that, the contract, GCDC. That's the money that they use to fund economic development projects. So
Yeah, and that's-
if Dunkirk comes up with an idea, I think in the years past, they use some of that money for community center projects, pool projects over here, so they, and every year about the, I think just the last commissioners meeting, they had their presentations of groups that were wanting some of that money, John Jay, the fair, Arts Place, different ones come in and ask for allocations of some of that money every year, and it's a pretty broad purpose, but, Dunkirk historically has used that to fund the IDC. But yeah, it's gonna be a huge change potentially for how we operate here. And I would just encourage all of you to try to attend those either AIM meetings, that you get, that you're all part of. If there's online trainings, I encourage you to go to them. Certainly go to this meeting in August and the ones that are gonna be held after that to try to make sure that you're.
I think they'll probably, one this year, probably go to two next year, and try to get everybody more informed. As far as Dunkirk right now, I'm not gonna try to stand up for the county or whatever, and I think Carol will back this up. Dunkirk's in pretty good shape right now. But if they cut all this, knowing how much more we got coming in, that scares me. So, all that elected officials can learn, I'm going to hit the library up if they're not keeping up with it. In the townships, if they start combining, that's going to affect your fire contracts, and then we can get into a lot of stuff. So, thank you, Wes.
Yeah, sorry. Stay tuned.
Did you have a time and location on that?
I will forward you guys the email that we received about it, that way you have.
All right, moving on. I got a hold of Judd Construction on the front of the building. They're looking, they're going to redesign our windows, our lettering, our awning. I'll bring that quote back whenever they get done. Our glass up there, single pane, it'll go to double pane, new frames, new lettering, new canopy. The door will stay the way it is, that's all brand new. Blinds on the inside, lights on the outside. So I'll get that back to council and get it here. Yeah, I'm gonna call on Wes again, being it's his turn.
Kara had asked a question about this new change to the way that you change the statute about how you reimburse your volunteer firemen. Years past, if you recall, we had a contract with volunteers, provide clothing reimbursement and vehicle reimbursement when they use their personal vehicles. That had just been paid to volunteers, and they dispersed it out. Well, the statute has changed effective July 1, so that it is increased to $250 clothing allowance and a $250 vehicle allowance. And it says that the city shall pay, the municipality shall pay directly to each member that amount. So, that's pretty clear now. You don't just cut one check to the volunteers and they disperse it out. That's gonna be a direct payment. And then Kara's question was about, well, you know, apparently the conferences, they said maybe this should be run through your payroll. Take my tax advice for what it's worth, okay? I'm not a tax or person, so consult your tax SBOA rep, whoever, if they can answer it for you. But I did do a little bit of research into it, and there's a handy dandy IRS guide for, that they publish for public employers. And kind of what I'm seeing, and if I'm reading this guide correctly, I think it is taxable. Unless it's an appropriate plan. That's what the IRS calls it. An appropriate plan means it's gotta be work required, work related. You've gotta track expenses. It's like almost, it sounds like a reimbursement, if I'm reading that correctly. You bring a receipt and you pay it back. And you have to return any excess money that you have used. So if you got 250 and you only spent 200, then you give them back the 50. So if it's not that type of a program, then I think it is taxable. And so I know, Kara probably fell out of the chair and said, how am I gonna add all these volunteers for one pay of the year? I don't know. But that's as good as I can do to tell you. You may have to add them to payroll for your one time a year, $500, whatever, however you break it out, pay. But just know that that was a new change effective July 1, how you reimburse your volunteers.
I think it says something about active, and there's another word too. How do you know who's active? Do they only have to go to one round a year? Do they have to go to 10?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll know the answer to that. Doesn't necessarily define what that means. I suppose you kind of have to rely on the volunteers to tell you how many active people they have and what they consider active, right? I mean, I don't know. Is it 1? Is it 10? Is it at 10 after meetings? I don't know.
See, that's,
What if I go to all the meetings but I can't get to any of the runs? You know, I don't know. Does that mean I'm still active?
this is gonna affect your budget too, if we have to
Right.
put them on the payroll, so. She's trying to get some answers, and I don't blame her, so.
We just assume this would just have to be paid by the end of the year, a one-time payment at the end of the year. Would be the best way to pay it, I would think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any other answers other than I don't know if anybody that you consult with, SBOA wise, would be willing. My guess is that if I tell you no, but if I say ask me, and I'm saying,
If that's the
I don't
answer.
know enough about taxes. I only know enough to be dangerous, right?
Yeah,
So
we ask a bunch
don't
of
rely
questions.
on me. I'm telling you right now, if you want tax advice, don't ask me. I don't know. I don't for sure, but the way I read that IRS guide, I think it is a payroll. And I don't think you just get to cut a $250 check, you know, or 500.
I think maybe Kara can research this a little further.
All the questions we asked at the conference was consult your local council.
Well, yeah, I mean, I still think they're volunteers, even though you have to pay it out like payroll, but I think it's taxable.
My question is, like I told Kara, they've got separate insurance. Yeah, we pay it, so now do we bring them in under our insurance plan? Or do we pay the separate to keep it? Yeah.
I think it opens up another can of worms that I don't think that we're gonna have answers to necessarily. I mean, I don't know that I don't know why. I mean, I'm always curious as to why these things change, and somebody probably could blame. I don't know. My mind went to, well, somebody was probably not getting their full $250 or something.
Yeah,
They
started.
were complaining, so they said, we gotta change this, so we pay them directly. Well, they didn't think through the practical consequences of what does that look like to put all these people on your payroll for one pay run a year, and then it's taxable and all this other stuff.
All right, well, Kara and I will pursue this, see what we can find out. We'll bring it back, see if we can get something set up.
Do they, the contract that we sign with them, what do they use that money for, and how is that money dispersed? Is it just so much a run they pay that, or what do
I
they?
can't really answer that clearly because I don't know, but I think it's based on how many runs they do, they get a certain dollar figure.
See, I'd be curious as to know how that's dispersed now. And, And how much of that do they actually use? Do they have some of that left over at the end of the year? Do they?
That's probably set by each fire department, isn't it? Whatever their volunteers vote on, probably. I don't know, that's a good question.
Yeah, I would think it is. I mean, once we pay them the fee, I don't know how they necessarily do that.
All right, we'll move on.
Right, we haven't approved a contract for next year, right? Yet?
Yeah,
Not for next year, no.
No.
or we signed this
We
year's.
signed this year,
Yes,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, we haven't
Did
done
that
it
here
for next year yet.
once.
So, I mean, that's something we need to look at. If we're going to pay more, maybe we need to look at reducing that contract amount. I just don't know.
No, the reason that we have to pay it now is because they took the verbiage out unless
Unless they're a
otherwise.
contract.
Yes.
Yeah,
They
that's
took
what the
that-
statute used to read is.
Yeah.
If you had a contract with volunteer fire company, you just paid the company and here it is. They did with it what they want. That probably, I'm guessing, created problems somewhere. Somebody probably wasn't getting their allotment and said, that's not any right that fair. And now we gotta change it and now we screwed it up for everybody.
All right.
What's the budget?
Okay, moving on to Donna.
Okay, Doug Hughes is being called in for the lights for the pickleball court, and Cameron said, he didn't promise, but he very strongly thought he would get the lights done this week because it's his vacation. So if he doesn't, we're probably back on the waiting list. So hopefully the weather cooperates enough that he gets it done this week while the markings are still good. We already talked about the pool stuff. The pool is going to close August the 9th, and we needed a new pool pump, and the park board approved this pool pump. That's a Pentar EQK 1500 series for $7,615.14. And I think they were gonna take it out of the building fund.
Okay, how much was the pump? And does that have to go through council too? Pretty sure our ordinance says the park board passes it and the council has to pass it too.
Yeah, $7,615.14.
Can I get a
We had
copy
two
of that?
quotes, that was the lowest.
Can I get a copy of that too? when you're done?
Yeah.
What's council's feelings on that?
I think we should make a motion to pay the bill for $7,615.14.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? That carries. Is that all you have, Donna?
Yep.
Okay, moving on to Jesse.
Okay, it's just FYI, our water tower maintenance is update, and the painting has started, and it's probably, I think Rock said 2 weeks for the whole thing, so probably this whole week unless we get more of that. So it's on its way to being done.
Thank you, Jesse. Christie?
The Dunkirk Volunteer Fire Department was down at the Moose with the school bag giveaway this weekend. Cares that they handed out for 100 backpacks. And all the little kids got little hats that said Dunkirk firefighters or something on them. It was cute.
Thank you, Christie. Dan?
I don't have anything other than, I don't know anything about the hydraulic lines.
We had one hydraulic line on the front bucket of our backhoe down sewage plant. It blowed, so he's got a company coming to fix. He's gonna fix both of them on that side, so that was just information there. Randy?
The only thing I have, Center Point's patching some broken sidewalks down on Blackford Avenue. What, 2 cuts? Is that-
Yeah, there's 2 cuts on Blackford, and then they had 1 cut on the sidewalk. I think they was gonna fix, and then I had a couple more. I'm gonna call them and see if they haven't fixed from last year, so. Anyway,
That's all.
them both them's goods on Blackford, because that's brand new asphalt. Karen?
I need need approval for accounts payable vouchers 35943 to 36057 in the amount of $210,483.23.
I make a motion to approve the claims.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? That carries.
Approval for allowance stock at 714 to 721 in the amount of $50,819.49.
Motion to approve dockets.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? That carries.
And I need approval for a water adjustment leak that was underground at 803 Hart Drive in the amount of $85.44, and it was verified by Brock Farmer.
Motion to approve adjustment.
Make a motion, we approve the adjustment for $85.44.
Do I have a second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? That carries.
And my last thing is, we did receive a thank you card for the Cancer Cruise In for our sponsorship. That's all I have, Jack.
All right, thank you. Does the board have anything else?
I do have one question. Is there any way, or have you talked to Brooks, is there any way they can, or have you said anything to them about possibly coming back this fall to patch some of these cuts that we got?
The bigger ones? No, I haven't talked to him.
That one there at Stewart Brothers is god awful. The one down on East Washington's bad. They
Stewart
just,
Brothers.
yeah, where they cut across right there at Stewart
Oh, that
Brothers.
on Washington.
Oh, it's terrible.
I'll see what, if,
I know we got
Brooks
two or
is
three
right
in
here in
town.
place.
I didn't know if there was any way they could come in and try to patch those couple cuts. They are bad.
I'll see what they say.
I don't think they saw cut that one down on Washington Street. Looks like they
Well,
just
we started out with
across
saw
there.
cut and then we got wide.
No, it's awful.
Yeah. All right, I'll check on that for information. Anything else? If not, I'll entertain the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We're adjourned.